Hey you guys, we are back with another video. And this one is a very exciting video because it's one that I've been planning to do for a very long time. It's just that I didn't really have the courage to really talk about these topics. I was afraid about whether or not it would resonate with my audience, how people would view me, and whether or not they would even believe what I have to say. Recently, however, I've been doing a lot of live streaming. I've been speaking to some of you one-on-one, and it seems that people are finally ready to receive the information that is to come. That is what has inspired me to make this video. So, without further ado, the topic for this video is going to be on the ascension process, what it is, and what you can look forward to as the years go by. We're going to be throwing out a lot of terms to explain what is happening. So just keep these in mind, as these terms, if you want to do research by yourself, these terms will help you to better understand these concepts if you want to search for them by yourself. So, what is the ascension process? Let's start with that first. So this dates all the way back to the year of 2012. If you were around during that time, you may have been familiar with a certain doomsday prediction that occurred around that year. That was the same year that a movie launched. It was also known as 2012. It depicted the world being overrun by many natural disasters, tsunamis, hurricanes, airplanes crashing from the sky. It was the most popular, I'd say, one of the most out there movies that you could see. But unlike most of the other movies that you've seen in cinema and theater and whatnot, this one generated a lot of attention. Not because the movie was really good, but because a lot of people started attributing the end of that year with the events of that movie. You see, 2012 was the year, so they say, researchers, it was the end of the Mayan calendar. And the Mayans, for those that don't know, are a civilization, a very ancient civilization with a lot of wisdom, and they were very in tune with the natural world. So things such as the alignment of planets, the rotation of the sun. They studied a lot of astrological concepts, and what the Mayans were able to figure out was that events that occurred on planet Earth coincided very strongly with events that took place in astrology. So for example, on the day of, let's say, a lunar eclipse, either really good things or really bad things would happen on the face of the Earth. And now, so what baffled researchers in 2012 specifically was that the Mayan calendar ended on that specific day. I believe it was December 21st, 2012. That was the exact same year timeline that the movie 2012 was coming out. So a lot of people started throwing a lot of predictions out there and saying that basically this movie was foretelling the end of the world. The fact that the calendar for the Mayans ended on 2012, just all of a sudden ended, means that they must have predicted that the end of the world would take place on that date or in that year. If you're sitting here and watching this video, you of course obviously know that did not happen because we are still alive. So what really took place, right? Is this just another doomsday prediction? Is this just ridiculous hype generated by the media in order to help promote their movie? We don't know. But what we do know, according to ascension theory, is that in the year of 2012, the beginning of a very long process started on that date. This is known as the ascension process, which is when people on the planet start to awaken their higher consciousness. So what does that mean, right? One way you can look at it is that it meant that people were becoming more of their true self, the best version of themselves. People would slowly, over the years, as you've seen, slowly begin to become more aware of their surroundings. Now, what do I mean by aware? There's a lot of things that we do in daily life that we're actually not aware of. For example, are you aware of your breathing patterns right now? Are you aware about what food you're actually putting into your body? Are you aware how you're feeling in this moment as I'm bringing up these topics? Some of you may be feeling feelings of guilt, shame. Others may be feeling pride and a sense of achievement. Consciousness all boils down to awareness. Being conscious about what you are doing, what you're putting into your body, how you're breathing, what the rhythm of your breath is, whether you feel any sort of uncomfort in your body, or if you're just ignoring it, which is what many of us have been doing until the year of 2012 arrived. People started waking up, becoming more conscious, connecting the dots between things that may not have any correlation to each other whatsoever. And because of this, the process of ascension started to occur. And this awareness about their external environment, about their fellow man, humankind, about their actions, about their beliefs, about just the things that they've taken for granted for so long, the things that they've been ignoring for so long. Suddenly, they couldn't ignore them anymore. It's like a stain on a white wall, right? You've lived with that stain for, let's say, 10 years, so you've gotten used to staring at this disgusting piece of crap that's on your wall, and it's just ruining the scenery in front of you. But then one day you're looking at it and you're like, huh, I never knew that we had a stain on that wall. It's like you knew that there was a stain on the wall. It's just that it never really passed your conscious mind. You never really put your attention on it and said, wow, this actually exists. I'm going to do something about it. So that is what it means basically to be living consciously in your daily life. It means to be in the present moment and not be distracted by anything else. And so the ascension process helps to herald this way of living into our daily lives in a more grounded way, in a more intense way. So we become more and more, we live more and more in the present moment each and every single day. At first, they may have been just for 1 second, or 2, or 3. And as you know, right now, it's the year of 2022. So it's been 10 years that this process has been in action, in flow. It's been 10 years that this ascension process has been working behind the scenes to influence everything that's happening on our planet right now. Most of it was behind the scenes and very difficult to see and perceive. That's why we haven't really heard about anything. That's why many of us haven't even been aware of anything that's been different happening on the planet. But I think all of that really changed in the year of 2020 when the you-know-what hit, right? All of a sudden, it completely shook the way in how we live, completely shook the way in how we interact with each other, completely shook businesses, completely shook the news. It was a big thing. It was known throughout the entire world. Again, this is due to the ascension process, highlighting the things that we, for so long, have not been aware of, or at least we didn't really pay attention to, starting to manifest itself into physical reality in a much more tangible form, in a way that you can't ignore. It's forcing you to put your attention on it. And put our attention on it we did, right? Everyone knows what I'm talking about, so I'm not going to bring it up. But that's an example of what the ascension process is doing. And the reason this ascension process is kicking off is because the energy that is coming into the planet is changing. And this energy comes from our sun. It comes from the planets that surround our planet. It comes from the solar system. It's from the universe, right? No one really knows specifically what is causing the ascension process, but we do know that there is a process that's occurring. There is an ascension that is occurring, an ascension of consciousness, of living in the present moment, of doing the things that are more aligned with who we are. So choosing the right thing to do instead of the wrong thing to do, right? Instead of being selfish, you start to do things that are more selfless. I'll give you a perfect example of this, which just actually happened yesterday, on the December 21st solstice. My father was going to work that day. And if you don't know, I live in Vancouver, and right now it's like -11. So there's a lot of snow on the ground. Usually my father would drive to work, but that day he decided to take the SkyTrain because he didn't want to risk getting caught in traffic, caught in the snow. And so he parked his car and he was going to take the SkyTrain. What he didn't know was that the parking meters, because you have to pay for parking here, the parking meters only accepted credit cards, so it did not accept cash. This was changed. Before it used to accept like coins, right? But all of a sudden they changed it to only credit card. And he didn't know about this. But then he was like, okay, this is okay. So he takes out his credit card, puts it in the machine. The machine rejects it because his credit card is expired and he didn't realize this. And so he's just like, oh no, what am I going to do, right? I can't pay for my parking. I don't have my credit card. It's expired. I don't have cash. It won't accept cash. So what can I do? So he was kind of in a panic. Not really a panic, but he asked around and saw, like, are there any machines that accept cash or anything, right? I need to go to work. And he met this really nice couple. And the couple heard about his plight, went over to the machine. And they're like, oh, you don't have enough, or like it won't accept your credit card, right? Okay, that's okay. The couple, takes out his credit card, puts it in the machine, pays for him, says, Merry Christmas, have a nice day. And my father was stunned, right? Because My father is not used to seeing acts of good in his life. It brought him the sense of hope and joy that, humanity still looks out for one another, instead of just being selfish and saying, it's your problem, you deal with it. Even though my father offered to pay him back for what he paid in the meter, the man just said, no, it's okay. Happy holidays, right? In the spirit of Christmas, he decided to be generous and not accept anything in return. That is an example of the ascension process at work. Choosing actions that are altruistic, where you do good for someone else, but you expect nothing in return. This is a very difficult concept for people to understand here in the West, especially with capitalism, right? Because it's basically a dog-eat-dog world. If you are going to do something, there must be some sort of reward, right? So people are very selfishly oriented. They don't really look out for other people. Or so it's been that way for a long time. And I know this because I've grown up here, right? A lot of people, honestly, some of them will look out for you, some of them won't. But basically, that's a good example of what I'm talking about, right? People are becoming more altruistic with their actions and basically choosing to be love, to be a good example to other people. That is what the ascension process is, if I had to sum it up. Being a positive role model for those around you and acting that way as well. Not just with your words, but actually physically taking action that is in alignment with those beliefs of being noble, altruistic, helping others, being selfless. And more people now are starting to embody that example because of the ascension process. More and more people are being altruistic. More and more people are helping others when they can, supporting others in times of need, not choosing the path of judgment and selfishness, right? When someone brings up an issue, you don't judge them and say, you suck for whatever happened to you, right? They show compassion. They'd be like, you want to talk about it, or I've been where you are, I feel what you're feeling. It's things like that that make you, kind of warm and fuzzy inside, right, when you see it happening. That's basically what the ascension process is. And what this is going to all accumulate towards, again, we're not there yet. We are, according to sources, we are halfway between from where we were. So basically, to explain this, so we are on the path right now. We live in where we currently are, something called 4D. So 3D was where we used to be. This world of duality, this world of selfishness, this world of negativity, fear, and doubt, where people were more selfish and cared only about themselves. That was 3D, where we used to be. Where we are now is that we're living in a world known as 4D, which is a step above 3D. So now you no longer have as much problems as you used to have in 3D. Not so much selfishness, not so much pessimism, not so much cynicalism. It's a better world to live in, right? Because people are basically treating each other in a better way. It's more enjoyable to interact with each other. So that's kind of 4D. And where we're going, where the ascension process is going to accumulate all towards, is 5D. And 5D is a world that is full of light and love and positivity, and nothing else. So in a 5D world, right, things such as suffering and negativity simply don't even exist anymore. You can think of it an example. For example, if you live in a 3D world, if you ask someone if they can help you with your parking meter, they will just say, you know, mind your own business, right? I'm busy. Deal with it yourself. That's 3D. They don't want anything to do with you unless there's something in it for them. 4D is people are willing to help you out. They expect nothing in return. But they may still be kind of cynical about what your intentions are, right? They might kind of look at you if you look kind of funny, and they'll be like suspicious of you, whether or not you actually have a problem or whether or not you're trying to, like, let's say, mug them. 5D, which is the example I gave earlier, is one where the person has no doubts in their mind and simply helps you out because it's the right thing to do. So the difference between, I'd say, 3, 4, and 5D, the easiest way to think about it is that 3D is you against me. We are not friends. We are basically enemies. That's 3D. 5D is we have no enemies. You are not my enemy. You are my friend. And no one has enemies at all. Everyone is a friend. Everyone helps one another. And we understand each other. Even though we have differences, we don't judge each other, and we do what we can to understand each other and resolve conflict in a peaceful manner that benefits everyone. Right now we are living in 4D, which is right in the middle. And we're moving from 3D to 5D. When this will happen, no one knows. It depends on how quickly we as humanity can absorb these lessons and act in a way that is congruent with how we want to live on this planet. So, for example, tomorrow, everyone could be living in a world of 5D if we all choose to do the right thing. If we all choose to put away our negativity, our cynicism, our fear, our doubt, our selfishness. If we left that behind, if everyone could do that overnight, we will be living in 5D instantly. But we can't, because as you know, humans don't like to change. Humans are grounded in their ways, in their beliefs, in their ways of viewing others. One example of this is racism, right? Some people just don't like you because of your skin color. That is a very 3D concept. This concept that somehow you are different than me because of X. You see this with the gender wars, right? Male versus female, female versus male, and now you've got other genders coming into the mix, right? Those that don't what's that word? Associate themselves with the two male and female genders. Again, opposing each other is a very 3D concept, which is you against me and seeing someone as different than you as your enemy. That is very 3D. We're living in 4D now, which is a little bit better than 3D, but at the same time, we are still below 5D, which is where we want to go. Because 5D is a world where everyone is happy and there's no suffering. It's basically heaven on earth. So we're in the process of creating heaven on earth. That is the ascension process. And it's something to get excited about, because if you've been living on this planet, which most of you have for your entire life, you'll know that it can sometimes be difficult to live here because of the way we treat others, right? Not all of us have been treated in a very altruistic manner. Some of us have been taken advantage of. Some of us have been manipulated. Some of us have been hurt in many ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually. But if we live in a world that's 5D, people won't do those things, right? People will be conscious and aware enough to know that, oh, this is someone, let's say, who I could manipulate, but I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to choose to help them out. instead of taking advantage of them when they're in this weak state. Why? Because that's the kind of world I want to live in, right? Do to others as you would do to yourself. If you were in a position where you could be manipulated, how would you like others to treat you? Do you want them to take advantage of you? If you do, then you act in that manner, and you will find yourself in a world where others will take advantage of you. You will stay in 3 or 4D. You won't move to 5D, because that is what your actions entail, right? You need to understand that what you do to others will eventually come back to you, because others see you as a role model, and you see others as a role model as well. That's why you act the way you do. If people are nice to you, when you ask them for money, they give you money, chances are, if someone asks you for money, you are going to do the same thing. You're going to give them money. But if you ask someone for money, they don't give you anything. Instead, they swear at you and tell you to get a job. You're probably going to do the same thing to the next person who does the same thing to you. So it's a cycle, right? That's basically what the ascension process is. That's basically how we create heaven on earth, by treating others the way we want to be treated. It's not a very difficult thing to do, but for some people, they want to stay in this mindset of us versus them, 3D. And that's okay, right? It's not up to us to change their mind. There will come a time where they will change by themselves through some type of life event. I'm sure many of you that are on this channel have been through significant life events that have changed you in ways that you never thought would happen, right? It's changed you for the better. Maybe you used to be more selfish. Maybe you used to be more manipulative and willing to take advantage of others. But then something happened to you, right? Life hit you in the face with a shovel. You suffered, and now you realize, oh, that's how it feels to be on the receiving end. And because of that, you decided to change your way of living. You decided to be a positive influence in the world. It just happened, right? For many of you. So we don't really have to rush the process. We don't have to force anyone to be more loving and aligned with 5D, because life will do it for them through mishaps and events. Life has a way, the universe has a way of making sure that everything gets done. And for those that are wondering, is it possible to reverse this ascension process? And the answer is no. Because everything over time grows. The universe itself is willing this process into action. So there's nothing that we as humans can do to undo it. We would have to literally be fighting the entire universe. We would have to fight everything that the universe is doing. We'd have to fight the sun. We have to fight the planets. We have to fight factors that are out of our control in order to undo this process, which is impossible, right? We're a puny human. And the universe is this infinite, grand, majestic spectrum of stars and solar systems that we can't even understand or even begin to imagine. How could we possibly get in the way of this process? We can't. We're moving to 5D whether or not we like it, right? We're moving to heaven on earth whether or not we like it. It's just a matter of, do you want to surrender to what's happening and embrace this new way of living, or will you resist it and go kicking and screaming the entire way? Choice is up to us. And I'm sure that many of you will be smart enough and intuitive enough to make the right choice in your life. So yeah, that is a little bit about ascension theory. What's happening right now, where we currently are and where we're going to be going. I hope you found this video useful in helping you to answer any questions that you may have. This is kind of a first video in a series that I'll be talking about, but it's important for you to understand this concept, this framework, because I'm going to build upon this in future videos to help you understand more and more about what's going on behind the scenes in the universe that is causing these planetary changes. And so, got a number of videos that I've planned out. So this one is on ascension and 5D. I'll have other videos as well on, for example, extraterrestrials and aliens. That's coming up. That one's coming up, and that one is going to be a really exciting video because it is one that I've been putting off for a really long time. I actually intuitively got the message that I should be sharing things related to extraterrestrials, the concept of life on other planets, and their existence and their actual existence among us. But I've been kind of afraid of how people would react to that, right? Because the topic of extraterrestrials is a very taboo topic, right? You're kind of seen as crazy if you believe in aliens and UFOs and kidnappings and stuff like that. But again, I think that the audience on my channel is ready for this information to come out. I think you're receptive enough to at least, if not believe, at least just contemplate and think about it. And so yeah, I think I'm ready as well to share those things with you all. And I hope you're looking forward to that as much as I am. So as always, that is it for this video. Peace and love to you all. Have a wonderful day. Make sure to rest a lot, take naps whenever you need it, to prepare for the energies that are coming in. That comes with the ascension process, right? I mentioned this in my last video, but it's worth reminding yourself to rest more, take breaks, relax, and make sure to stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water. That is very important for the ascension process as well. To help you process the energies that are coming in a very positive way. So yeah, that is it from me. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.